Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today as we get into the preview for what is, or what will be, Chelsea's hardest Conference League game. I'm actually excited for this because it actually feels like a European game. Do you know what I mean? Again, not to disrespect the Conference League, but I don't feel like we belong here. However, playing Panathinaikos feels somewhat respectable, you know? So you could mistake this fixture for a Europa League game. You could. Because Panathinaikos are a team that we all know and are decent. They're at a good level. Not so much at the moment in terms of the Greek league, but in terms of what they've done before, their history and all that, we all know Panathinaikos. And this feels like a game that I can look forward to, right? Unlike the game coming up after that where we play Noah. As Matisse calls them, Noah's Ark. I just hope we don't get put on the Ark. No, actually, no, we got to get put on the Ark. If not, we'll drown. It is what it is. It is what it is. But we're going to get into the preview. And I'm going to go through exactly how I think we should line up. The latest news, what needs to happen. I do want to focus on one thing before we get into this preview properly, and that's what Maresca was talking about in the press conference. He was asked about the contract situation with Josh Acheampong, and with Josh not being allowed to be in the squad because despite him having 2 years or just under 2 years left on his deal as an academy player, he's not signing a new deal. And because of that, there's interest at Liverpool, Real Madrid apparently, and now maybe his head's turned, maybe his team are starting to maybe get him to look elsewhere. Chelsea are not happy. It's a situation Maresca was asked about. And I wanted to ask you the question, because Maresca made it clear that he likes the player, and he thinks he has the potential to be a really top player. And it's a player that he's happy to have. But it's a shame, as Maresca put it. He said it's a shame. Just the way that things have gone. And it means that basically I can't have him in the squad. Now, I want to get your opinion on this. Football has turned away from the manager. And now it's turned to the head coach, right? Managers used to be fully involved in all sorts. Well, first and foremost, the players that are in the squad was solely the manager's decision. On top of that, anything off the pitch, contract negotiations, targeting players, all of that used to be the manager, right? We've turned away from that. I'm not talking just Chelsea, I'm talking football as a whole. More and more clubs are now having head coaches, people that are not involved in anything except train the players and pick the starting 11 and play. That's it. That's your sole responsibility, right? Football's gone more in that direction, which means that the club have to make decisions, whereas before, managers would have made decisions. Which is better? I want to ask you guys, because it's clear that Maresca, I think, would have loved to have Josh in this squad, but he can't. And it's out of Maresca's control. Maresca doesn't have a say in this, right? Because it's between the club and it's between Josh. And that's a matter that doesn't have Maresca involved. It doesn't concern Maresca. So, I want to ask you, do you think it's best now that football teams at the highest level go with head coaches that don't make decisions and only pick the team on a starting 11, or managers that do have that full input and control and can really, really mold and build everything exactly to their image? What do you think is best? I want to know. Let me know in the comments. Personally, if I'm talking honestly, I would have loved to have managers still in place. I can understand that sometimes it's not black or white. Sometimes there is a bit in between. Sometimes you can have a bit of both, right? Whereas, for example, they're not involved in contract negotiations, of course, but they have a say when it comes to transfers. Whereas some don't, and it's just up to the club. It's a range, but I like when managers have that input, because I believe if a manager wants to build a team in his image and the club trusts that manager, then let him do it his way. You've employed him, let him do it. But we're moving away from that, more towards club decisions and the head coach just being there as part of the club's decision making. Let me know what you think. What way do you prefer down below? Now, this game is, like I said, an interesting one because it is going to be our hardest Premier League, Conference League game. So we got to take it somewhat seriously. Now, the Panathinaikos side, right? We're talking their fans, we're talking their them lot, right? They seem to be not super confident, but confident in their ability. They think they can get a result tomorrow. Now, I've not watched any Panathinaikos this season, I don't know, but I can tell you that they're 6th in the Greek league and they're not having the best of starts, right? You'd expect them to be up there with Olympiacos and up in terms of top 2, top 3. Well, they're 6th at the moment. Season just started, 8 games in, just like the Premier League. But weirdly enough, they're coming into this with a little bit of, bring it to Chelsea. I don't blame them. When you look at the way Chelsea have been the last couple of years, I can see why maybe. But Chelsea, I'd like to think, are a bit better than they were the last couple of years. We do have that little bit of confidence in our favour at the moment, especially against these teams that are maybe the level below. We've just lost to Liverpool. Obviously, we didn't get battered, but we've lost. And is that going to detour our little run that we had before the Liverpool game? I hope not. But it's a tough one to preview because it's definitely possible Panathinaikos get a result. We got to respect them, but not too much, right? I'm taking this game somewhat seriously. I'm not looking at it like I'm looking at some of the other teams in this group where we're going, come on, that's 3 points. Like, surely, with all due respect, Astana, Noah, these are teams that, come on. Panathinaikos away, not the most straightforward, but I reckon for Chelsea should be at least still somewhat straightforward. This is a game where I don't expect a battering, but I expect a nice small margin win. 2-0, maybe even 2-1, 3-1 would be nice. Somewhere there, nothing more and nothing less. So let me know what you think is going to go down. But in terms of the team news, the team news is interesting. Let me show you, actually. Let me put it on the screen for you. So Levi Colwell, Reece James, Malo Gusto, Caicedo, Nicholas Jackson all have not travelled to Athens, along with the likes of Cole Palmer, Lavia, Fofana and Ben Chilwell, who are not in Chelsea's European squad. For now. I do want to stress that, for now, right? Because it's the group stage. When we get to the knockout stage, we'll be able to call up more players if we want. There is a shock name. Check this out. Shim Muka has travelled with the first team squad for the Panathinaikos game. Tyreek George and Sam Raksai also in the travelling squad. So it's nice that we've actually got academy boys, proper. Like Tyreek George, for example, is someone alongside, you could say, Acheampong, who's from the academy but has already been introduced, at least to a very small level. These guys have not been introduced yet. This is their first call-up, right? Shim Muka and Sam Raksai, right? So are they going to be used? I don't think so. I think they're just being brought along for the experience, for some exposure, to familiarize themselves with an away day in a European competition. That alone is experience for them right now at this time in their careers. If we're winning 4-0 or something, right, I'd say bring them on. Bring them on. Bring them on for 20 minutes. Why not? You're not going to hurt them. If we're not winning by that margin, I would say don't. Unless maybe the last 5 minutes. Bring them on. Bring them on for a little bit of a kickabout. But nothing too serious. We don't need to look into them too deeply, right? But in terms of the travelling squad, we've got the names. And because we've got the names, I've come up with the starting 11. Now, we've already had one player confirmed. And that was Jorgensen, goalkeeper. Maresca's already said he is starting, right? It's not going to be Sanchez. So I'm glad that we get to see Jorgensen in goal. I want to see how he's going to play. I am honestly looking at him to do something for me, please. Please do something for me. Because we need to fix this goalkeeper situation. If you can show us you have a level, who knows? You can take the number 1 spot. Who knows? Because I'm not satisfied. When it comes to our goalkeeping situation, I'm not satisfied, man. I don't think anyone is. So this is good. Let's see how it's going to go down. But we've had that one confirmation. What about the rest of the team? Well, as I've said, the players that have missed out have missed out. Everyone else that has not been read out are with the squad. Now, just to clarify, some of you may not know, the positions of the 2 academy players that I've mentioned that have travelled alongside Tyreek George, Sam Raksai, midfielder, right? And Shim his Shim is short. Like, I've got his full name here. Shumaira is his full name. But Shum is what I guess everyone knows him by. Shum Muka, striker. So it's a very interesting position here because when it comes to strikers, yeah, we could do with some options, yeah? So let's see how they're going to fare if they do feature. But the squad is announced. Who's going to play? Let's get into it. Here's my starting 11. Right, I've put it on screen right away so we don't waste time. I'll explain my choices here. Jorgensen's starting because it's already been confirmed. Kukurea right back. Because we ain't got a choice. No one else is playing right back. Reece James hasn't travelled. Gusto hasn't travelled. I'm not playing Disasi at right back. Just to let anyone know. If anyone, look, I am never going to choose Disasi at right back ever again. That's not happening. We've seen Kukurea at right back though, and he can put a shift in there. And this is Panathinaikos Conference League. I'd expect Kukurea can hold his own on that side. Why? Because Renato Vega has to be on the left-hand side. Now, some people are going to say, oh, but what about Ben Chilwell? Well, Ben Chilwell's not with the squad. He's not in the squad. So we got to use these 2 fullbacks. Kukurea can play on the right. Renato Vega is a left back. Cool. Then they both start. So that's my logic there. Centre backs, I would play Tosin and I would play Badiashile alongside him. Tosin didn't have a great game against Liverpool whatsoever, right? He looked nervous. But bearing in mind that Fofana's back from suspension and he's probably not going to feature in the Premier League, Tosin I would feel like is best to be played again this game because who else are we going to play? Now, if you had to get me to choose Tosin or Disasi, I want to stick with Tosin. I feel like Tosin is less susceptible to a mistake than Disasi. Honestly, Disasi, honestly, I appreciate his character. I think he has a good buzz. He has a good character. But on the pitch, when it comes to with the ball, I'm scared. I'm scared of Disasi with the ball. The same could be said for Badiashile to an extent, but I feel a little bit more secure with Badiashile. And Badiashile, as left centre back, we don't really have much other option if we're talking about defenders. Like I've said, the other only defenders are already on the pitch. We have 5 defenders that were taken. Tosin, Badiashile, Kukurea, Disasi and Vega. That's it. 4 of them are here. 1 is Disasi on the bench. So that's basically it. We don't have great options here, I'll be honest. Midfield. It would be very easy to just go, just change the lot. But I would play Enzo in this game. He didn't play the whole game against Liverpool. I would play him here. He's a senior player. I prefer him ahead of Casadei. You know, and bearing in mind who we've got in front, this is actually not the best balance, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, in terms of balance, Casadei would probably be a better option, but Casadei gets me nervous as well. Again, it's Panathinaikos, and I'd like to feel like he'd be able to handle it, but I feel like he, on a bad day, will just leave himself completely open, right? And maybe lose his head a bit. Enzo, I feel like, can at least have a bit of composure. The only problem with Enzo is his physicality. He's just not great physically. So it is what it is. But Panathinaikos, you'd feel like he'd be able to deal with it. There isn't much defensive ability here, though. And no matter who we choose, because if we go to our squad, again, look, Enzo, Dewsbury Hall, Casadei, Chukwuemeka, or Sam Raksai. We ain't got a choice. Again. So I'm actually a bit concerned defensively in this midfield. Because I would play João Felix in that 10 role that Palmer normally plays. I would play Chukwuemeka because bloody hell, we need to see Chukwuemeka play some football, please. Please. He's in the squad. And I would rather him than Dewsbury Hall. We've not seen Chukwuemeka, and I feel like this is a chance for Chukwuemeka to make a statement, man. Chukwuemeka, I feel like, has been very unfortunate. We know what he can do on a good day. We've just not seen him. So I want to see him. So Chukwuemeka starts. But as I've said, the balance in that midfield is so off, it's ridiculous. So anyway, we have a choice. We don't have a DM in this squad. But there is one potential solution here, and that is, how am I going to... There we are, yeah. Renato Vega coming inside and inverting to assist Enzo. That's going to be the catalyst here. Or maybe even Cucurella from right back, but that would be a little bit unorthodox for him. Now, the front three picks itself, I think. Pedro Neto on the right, without a doubt. And Pedro Neto has a shout to start properly, even in the Premier League. It's going to be a battle between him and Madueke, right? Because Pedro Neto has a case. On the left, I don't see anyone else that we can go with, and I feel like Mudryk is going to start anyway, and it's a chance for Mudryk to look, this is a respectable European opponent. Respectable, right? Mudryk, this is your chance. Simple as that. And look, when he plays, he gets chance after chance, right? Not in the Premier League games, of course, because, look, we've got Sancho. But Mudryk isn't being completely neglected. It's just when he's playing, it's not phenomenal. It's not brilliant. And that's just the reality. Panathinaikos, you've got a chance to prove what you can do. I don't feel like Sancho needs to play. Sancho isn't even in the squad, if I'm not mistaken. I think I just read that out, didn't I? Oh, well, no. Sancho is, I think, in the... Yeah, he is in the squad. So, Mudryk, you better perform. This is your chance. If not, like, honestly, if he were to play tomorrow and he doesn't play well, like, you are fully to the curb at that point. You are completely sidelined now. Like, done. Game over. Sancho is 100% ahead of you. Mudryk needs to fight for his place. So this is a chance for him to do so. Do it tomorrow. And up front, Nkunku. Without question. Jackson's not travelled. Nkunku needs to play. Nkunku needs his minutes. Nkunku's good up there. Play. There is a debate as to whether Nkunku should even be starting in league games. But in terms of how that's going to work, and we don't want to interrupt Jackson's form, at least for now, but Nkunku does deserve to play. It's a tough one. Without a doubt, he starts tomorrow. Plays 90. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you agree or disagree? Let me know down below. But this is my starting 11. And as we get into the predictions, I tell you guys, hit the subscribe button, notification bell on. I will be here for the review straight after the game, so make sure you're here. And check out the socials on screen and in the description. I am going with Panathinaikos 1, Chelsea 2. I think it's going to be tight. I feel like the crowd, Panathinaikos at home, the level of the team is going to be slightly lower than what we normally play. I expect it to be a bit more of a tight affair compared to maybe what some are thinking. Some are probably thinking we're going to go there and win 3-0. We might, but I'm going 2-1. 2-1 Chelsea win. So, let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. Your predictions as well. And I will catch all of you after the game and after it's all said and done. Thank you all so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Take care. And peace.